Welcome to math. Today we're going to add and subtract like fractions. When I think about the word add, I'm assuming that we're going to be finding the sum or the total. Here is a symbol that adding is often associated or connected with. Sum is the answer of the multiplication product. Sorry, that looks kind of messy. Subtracting. Often we see a symbol that looks like this, and the difference is usually the answer of a subtraction problem, how it's the numbers, what's the difference between them. Like fractions, I'm thinking we're going to be using something with the same, something that's something in common with these fractions. Make sure you write this down in your notebook. Fifth graders, we have spent the last few days discussing fractions. We've identified them, we've found equivalent fractions, and we've also spent time comparing them. So I want you to take a moment, pause the video, reflect on what you know about fractions right now. I'm expecting to see probably about 5 ideas in your list, and you're going to share those, of course, during small group here in a moment. Pause the video, continue once you have your ideas down. Remember, it's a great reference to look in your notebook if you need ideas. One thing you may have written down in your brainstorm is the names or the parts of a fraction. And we know that this top part is the numerator. It is the number of pieces that you have, and the denominator is the total number of pieces in the shape or in the fraction. Some other things you may have written down are that fractions can be used to name part of a whole region. Perhaps you wrote about the numerator, how many equal parts you have, or the denominator, as we just discussed. Something else you may have written down are that fractions are equivalent if they name the same part of a region. 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. Here's something similar with equivalent fractions. It'll be interesting to see if any of you wrote something similar as to these 5 ideas that I came up with. Now, if we're going to add fractions that have the same or like denominators, let's take a look at this example and see what this might be like. So here is a pie, and it's cut into 6 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we could say that this would be sixths. Now, if a man eats 2 pieces of the pie, I'm going to shade this in as I talk. If he eats 2 pieces, here's 1 piece, here's 2, and a lady has a piece, how many pieces or how much of the pie did they eat together? So I could count that they had 1/6, 2/6, and 3/6 of the pie. We could say that 2/6 plus 1/6 equals 3/6. In the problem that we just saw, the denominators were the same. They were like. We can add fractions that have like denominators just like this. This fraction bar is divided into fifths. each piece is 1/5. What is the total of purple and white parts of this fraction bar? 2 purple, and also 2 white parts. Go back just for a second. It went a little too fast. Let's watch it again. It's 2/5 plus another 2/5. So again, here we can tell that we have 2 purple pieces, so we have 2/5. And over here we have 1 white piece and another white piece, 2/5. And this equals 4/5. Or we could say that there's one piece right here that is not purple or white. What do you notice about how we're adding these? What is changing? What is staying the same? You may have noticed that the denominator in all 3 of these situations stayed the same. The numerator happened to be the same in these 2, but we added them together to make 4. So when we add like fractions, there are a couple things we want to remember, and you may find it beneficial to write this in your notebook. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure the denominator or the bottom number is the same. Then we want to look at the numerators or the top number. We can add them together. And remember to leave the denominators that are the same or they are like alone. Feel free to pause this if you need more time. Here is another example. 1/5 of the class is wearing white shirts and blue pants. 3/5 of the class is wearing a red shirt and blue pants, and another 1/5 of the class is wearing white shirts and brown pants. What fraction of the class is wearing white shirts? Well, here we have 1/5 is wearing a white shirt and another 1/5 is wearing a white shirt. Since they are the same denominator or equal total parts, 5, we can add the numerators together. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2/5 of the class are wearing a white shirt. Here's another way we could solve it. We could add together 1, 2 parts. There's 3 that are left without being shaded, so 2/5 are shaded. Pause the video to answer these questions. How many students like oranges, and pears? How about pears and watermelons? Oranges and grapes? Pears and grapes? Pears and oranges, and watermelons and grapes. You can see that the pictures over here are the same as up top, in case you're wondering which is which. Once you're finished, press play. All right, 5th graders, how did you do? Check your work with these answers. Let's talk about our target to adding fractions with like numbers. What did you learn today? And how does this apply to your life or the future of your life? Write down your thoughts. Bring your ideas to our small group. We'll continue our conversation there.